Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Ritt. I'm an artist and a tarot reader, and today's reading feels very in between. It feels like we've initiated something really important for ourselves and we're temporarily getting bogged down in our thinking, in what's coming to me is in whether or not life is treating us fairly. And there's some anxiety around that. So we're going to come out the other side of this. As always, things are going to progress forward. We're going to get through it. We're going to find our clarity again. It's just that right now we're in kind of a hazy in-between in which we doubt ourselves. And the way it's reading is, here we have fire. I should say at least yesterday it was new moon in Aries. I'm not sure where we are right now. I do know that the sun is in Aries. So we have Knight of Rods or Knight of Wands. Rods and wands are the same thing. So the fire element. This knight is initiating new direction, and he's in the past position. He's reversed. It feels, the way this translates to me is we've started something really important for ourselves. Now, because this is a collective reading, I'm coming to understand this is many, many different somethings. For each and every one of us, that's different. It could be a series of somethings, you know? It could be one big thing for one person and a bunch of little things for the next person. And in any case, whatever those things or that thing represents, it speaks to a new direction. So we've started that for ourselves, and that is big, that is important, that is powerful, you know? And that is, more broadly speaking, that is not to be forgotten. I think we're temporarily forgetting what we've started because we're in the middle of doubting ourselves. So here you have Justice. Justice is Libra energy. Libra is air. It translates pretty directly to me, also on its head, feeling the injustice of things. Having that kind of lack of objectivity is what's coming to me, you know? So whereas justice is, it's fair, it's balanced, it's objective. Air has the ability to be objective. If you think about air in relation to the mind, it's our clarity, it's the voice of reason at times. It's that sense that things really are going to be okay. I often think of justice, the justice card, as things are indeed working out. Here it's just like we've temporarily forgotten that things are indeed working out. It's not that they're not working out. It's just a temporary lapse in being able to see it clearly. So we've got this going on. And this feels very current. And it's coupled with this energy, which has come up for us before. Again, you have swords, which are air. Libra is air. Swords are air. This is a card that speaks to anxiety and feeling lost in it. I remember a client pointed out to me, you can't see the end of these swords. And there is that feeling of endless. The way in which I found personally, emotions can really swallow me whole, and there's this really powerful illusion that they're going to last forever. This is that same illusion of the mind, you know, that whatever fear we're swallowed up in, it's just going to go on and on and on, you know. But again, it's a temporary loss of objectivity and reason and clarity and all that good stuff. It's very much part of our human experience that this happens. So this is also reversed. It feels as if we are, interesting, what's coming up is, it's actually, we're moving out of this place of fear, but we're still also in the midst of it. So a little bit of both. That's an interesting message. So we're not yet able to see clearly, but we will, you know? Moving forward, we have a card actually that, in my understanding, looks back. So this is, there's a feeling of confidence, but also kind of a limitation. It's like what we know from our lived experience, but not necessarily what lies beyond that. But the way this reads to me here is that we will soon have new perspective on what we've been through here. And going farther back, I know for me, often my thinking gets clouded around past experience going years back. And the way this energy feels as it looks back, it's not necessarily that we're going to have the fullest range of vision. It's that we're going to have greater clarity about some of the struggles that we've been going through, you know, and that in turn will lead us to greater clarity and broader knowing, as Abraham Hicks would say, that broader knowing, the knowing of our psychic selves or our higher selves, or however you want to put that. I like that term inner being that Abraham uses in those teachings. We're on our way to that, regaining that fuller perspective about who we are and about what's going on in our lives. We're just not quite there yet. So it's just like a temporary haziness, you could say. And interesting too, because these guys that are right in the middle, this kind of current energy that I'm seeing, this is all air. So again, it speaks to the mind clouding things. We, you know, in terms of Western civilization, Western culture, we tend to value the mind above all else. And so there's that illusion that there's maybe one kind of intelligence and one kind of knowing. And everything that I'm coming to know for myself tells me there's so many different forms of intelligence and knowing and things that maybe just touch on what goes on here, but speak so much more broadly to our hearts, our souls, our psychic selves, our bodies, what our bodies translate for us as we live in this physical realm. So yeah, that illusion that the mind is everything, I know that that's very pervasive, and here it's clouded. So it's like, as the mind gets in the way, as we forget that there's so much more to who we are than just our minds, we get lost in this illusion. And it's clouded thinking, you know? And it's the way the mind will say, that isn't fair. We're being duped. Something is really wrong. You know? It's got a very limited scope. You know, it's not really the full picture. It's maybe this much of something so much bigger and broader and more comprehensive that we're just not able to see right now. So again, coming back to the air element, which speaks to the mind, this is air and it's sandwiched between fire, you know? So what I'm finding really interesting about that is that fire speaks so much to action and initiative and creativity and adventure. And so there's this feeling of we've started something from this deeply intuitive place, right? And then we're just kind of temporarily losing our way here, you know? Mind is getting in the way, and we're going to get some perspective, but maybe from a bit more of the way it's translating to me is, it's not just going to be about the mind as we regain clarity. it'll speak to the mind. I feel like the mind will certainly benefit from this energy, but also it'll be as two is balance. It'll be that intuitive balance maybe that we regain, you know, as we continue on our way to whatever wonderful things we've set in motion here. As we further those, we regain, I want to say, just more broadly speaking, it's like we regain our life balance. Maybe we regain our ability to intuit through our senses. I mean, fire is also a very sensual element. So, yeah, it's just a temporary thing. And the artwork that I've pulled also reflects that. I actually feel as if, it's really interesting what I'm seeing already. So you have this energy. I know this has come up for us before. And actually what I'm getting this time around is, so we've got this kind of, this psychic antenna, right? And there's this beautiful centered quality here, you know, which to me this just feels like very much right-mindedness. Is what's coming to me, you know, just we're aligned within ourselves, as Abraham would say, and also just giving off sparks. There's just this feeling of firepower here, you know, and I feel as if this is speaking to what we've begun for ourselves, and then also here, I feel like what translates for me, it's a couple of things. I mean, the way this just feels like such a brightly burning little orb, it feels like, actually the message that I'm getting is our compass, you know, so it's as if we're kind of having to realign our compass as we continue to move in this new direction. So there's this feeling of like arrow here, you know, and compass, and maybe temporarily disjointed, but on our way to moving forward and out of whatever funk we're in here, you know. But again, it's like there's a purity to this, and there's a purity, there's a centeredness, there's a knowing here, and there's also passion. I feel like whatever new projects we've begun, we're passionate about those, and fire speaks to that in general, you know, so they mean a lot to us. And the message that I'm getting is don't give up, you know, don't give up. Do take a break if you need to. Do acknowledge the cloudedness of our thinking here, but recognize that it's not about giving up. Interesting too that this also feels like it's about that centeredness, you know, and even if this energy is just speaking to getting clearer about some of the things that we've been through before we move to an even broader, fuller clarity, you know, going forward, it's still a very powerful theme within this reading. It almost feels like we're going to be regaining that sense of purpose that we've temporarily lost here. And that is really, really good news. That's good news for me as much as for all of you. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day, or a soothing day that leads to more wonderful experiences going forward. And for those of you interested in supporting me and in this channel, please check out my Patreon link. I know I've talked about it at great length, it is a wonderful way in which you can support me and this channel through monthly donations. And I will leave it at that. And again, I hope that you all find ways to bring more satisfaction into your life and to bring more soothing into your life. You know, this is about needing to soothe some things within ourselves, and we have that ability. Even in just starting very, very small, we have that ability, whether it's a cup of tea, a good book, taking in the air, finding ways to ground ourselves. I know that for myself, I'm finding that Qigong is very helpful for that. However you do it, I hope that you all have some soothing where you need it as you regain your clarity and your sense of purpose and vitality. And I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.